Hey guys, welcome back. Modii 101 here, and I'm here with the lovely Heather and AB.
Hi.
Hi.
Ooh.
At the time of
That's
this
the
coming
inside
out,
of my feet.
yeah, it is.
Sorry.
You find the gout? Can we scrape that out? Is that a
I
thing?
hope so. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think anything that involves scraping is probably not a good idea. But
Yeah, probably.
anyways, we are back in Go Create Business. Anyways,
Business.
So in between, I didn't do a whole lot. I think I did put stuff up on the shelves in here.
Oh, it looks
we
good.
got coffee cups and different cups and bowls.
I like that
and
the
whatnot.
pot bubbles. That's cool.
Yep. I love this mod. For anybody who doesn't know, if you don't watch the channel a lot or you recently had amnesia, the cooking mods are generally my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Which is weird because you don't cook in real life and you don't eat a lot of foods.
I think that's why.
Probably because you can experiment.
Exactly. I'll make stuff that I'm never going to eat in real life. But anyway, so that, and I did run around. I don't remember what I was looking for, but whatever it was, I don't think I found it. Anyways, but I know I did run around and stuff. But yeah, I got some bowls and some cups and some things kind of set up in here. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep working on the chef one, and you're going to hopefully make life a little easier for us by having things be a little. So I'm thinking about grabbing the old. I'm thinking about hiring my first employee for the restaurant. So I'm going to do that first. So we have the little counter here, which I used a crafting table for, and I figured that's where you kind of go to pay.
Yeah.
If I put this down, not only do we now have a place to go officially play, we've got an employee that you could pay with. Woo! So there we go. That works out. And plus, he was complaining about getting rained on. So.
Yeah, he's got that little booth, but it doesn't really cover him.
No, just covers his counter. So he's just sitting there completely drenched. And even then, even the little thing, it just kind of keeps part of this little towel, I guess. I don't know what this is. Keeps that slightly less damp, but not much, So now he's inside. Now maybe he'll shut up and he'll stop trying to unionize and all that fun stuff. So business. Heather feels she has the main components to get us an ME system.
Yes.
And you're gonna try and use the create power.
I am.
To power it. So she's gonna use an alternator because we do have the big spinner up there, and
we
that
do,
guy
and it gives a lot of power. It gives a lot of power. It
is cranking. It is running everything in here without an issue. Which, if any of you guys have ever played with Create, sometimes getting sufficient power can power both speed and torque.
Yeah.
And we're super torquey, so that works out. So she's gonna work on that. I'm gonna make more food that I would never touch in real life. I think that's a good plan. Real quick, just to let you guys know, and I said this in a couple other videos this week, Heather and I are 99% sure that we're going to actually take a little mini vacation. We are going to try and do the cheapest vacation.
I like that we're 99% sure because there's that 1%.
We're grown-ups that have responsibilities and kids, and so nothing could ever be 100%.
Okay, I guess that's true.
so at the time of this recording, Mother's Day is going to be this weekend. By the time you guys see this, it has already passed by almost a week.
Yeah.
So technically, by the time you guys see this, we're already home. We're already back. But we got a 3-day comped room at the Excalibur Resort and Casino in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada. So basically, you don't come here. Here's a free room. And unbeknownst to them,
that's basically what it was. 4 years ago, we went to Vegas. And,
Heather had never been.
I had never been. We stayed at the Paris. It was lovely. I don't think I'd stay at the Paris ever again.
Not that it was bad. It's just we already stayed there.
Yeah, and there's nothing really special about the rooms, The floor casino was nice because it, Paris, it's supposed to look like Paris. But
Yeah.
yeah.
They had a good buffet.
So we decided that if we ever do go back, we're just gonna stay at places we've never been. Now he's been to like Mandalay Bay, he's been to like the Aria and MGM.
So just so
right?
just so you guys know, we live in southeastern Arizona.
Yes.
We're about an hour away from the border, kind of east, central, southern Arizona. So there's a handful of places. Like if you live back east, it seems like you can like drive 4.5 miles and you're in another state, right?
Yeah.
Here the states are a little girthy. They're a little thick with
just
three
a
C's.
little.
Yeah. Super thick. But the drivable locations for us, I mean, I guess technically El Paso, but I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Would
We've
be
driven through El Paso. I'm good.
yeah. Unless you live in El Paso, lovely city, love your city. Anyways, so yeah, we live. But basically, you can go to L.A.
Yep.
Or as we like to call it, LA.
Allah.
And then you can go to San Diego.
Yep.
And you can pretty much go to Vegas. I guess you could go to Salt Lake City. I guess that's an option. We did drive to Colorado one time.
We did.
But that was when Heather's sister lives there, who doesn't live there anymore. So
yeah, there's no reason for us to go there now.
anyways, because of that, plus for any of you guys that haven't been around for a long time, I spent many years, a decade and a half, managing video game stores. So GameStops, Game Crazy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's back when I had a real job. And not this whatever the hell it is we're doing here. Anyways, and and a lot of my work conferences would be in Vegas because they need a place, especially with like GameStop, because it was every manager and higher in the company. So there was like 5,000 of us at the time. So you're not going to have that in like Des Moines. Like you're not going to have the room for that.
No.
So so we had it in Vegas. So a lot of the time I would go to Vegas for that kind of stuff. So and it was almost every time it was in Vegas, it was at Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay and the Luxor.
I wonder if they had like a deal with them or something.
Mandalay Bay has Mandalay Bay and the Luxor are right next to each other. They're connected like with a mall. Like there's a little mall that connects the two, and there's also like a tram that physically connects the two. And a lot of the time, there wasn't enough rooms in Mandalay Bay for them to have normal guests and then all of us. So I always got a room in Mandalay Bay. Like it just happened to happen that way. But some of the people had rooms in the Luxor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was one reason because, if it was raining or it was 110 degrees or whatever, you could go from one to the other without actually ever going outside.
Yeah, leaving.
Yeah. You would take the tram, you get on the tram inside, it goes outside and then takes you back inside when you get off. So, and, and plus the Mandalay Bay has a really big conference room area where there's a ton of rooms. And that was where we had all of the different training classes and all that stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think that was probably one of the bigger parts because it wasn't just like they had like, a big auditorium for big shows. They had
conference rooms.
Yeah, like 30 or 40 separate conference rooms that we would literally take up all of them when we were there. Because I don't want to activate my
activate it
on my unzipping program. So yeah, and like I said, for any of you guys who don't know, these conferences, they were long. And generally, I don't even think I'm going to do any cooking today. I'm just going to talk about Las Vegas.
Fine.
We're getting story time with Modii, so just buckle in and deal with it. So basically, what would happen is that we would have these different, I would call them classes or meetings, and they were generally run by different video game related companies.
Okay.
So they would send people out, and there were some like, and the whole concept of these things, they would always happen pretty much near the end of summer.
Okay. So when it was
And
like really hot.
well, yeah, but the reason to happen then is it was basically leading into all of the holiday stuff that was coming out.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So we would get to see games and in a lot of situations play games in, say, August, September that weren't going to be for sale until November, December.
Yeah.
And really what the concept was, it's a very basic concept. You take the managers, you send them out, they play a bunch of games, they get a bunch of information, then they go back to their stores, they relay that information to their staff, and then everybody gets excited about the new blah, blah, blah that's coming out, and then when you come into the store, we try and get you to pre-order. That's literally what it's about. And to be honest with you, most of the companies are the ones that kind of flip the bill to some extent.
Okay.
Like, I think they would pay a certain amount of money to be a part of it.
Okay.
And that's how I think, like, I don't think GameStop paid for a lot of it out of their own pocket. Because you got to keep in mind,
not.
those 5,000 plus people all had to be flown in.
Yeah.
From across the U.S., and you got to keep in mind that's store managers, which is what I was. Then you'd have district managers, regional managers, plus then all the corporate people. Then they would have a whole bunch of people from corporate that like were kind of like more office droney, like they weren't VPs or anything, and they were the ones that kind of did everything.
Okay.
Because you would have 5,000 people flying into the Las Vegas airport, then they would have to rent buses, like charter buses, that would kind of run because with flights it's not like everybody came in at 2.
Oh yeah, no, it was it's staggered.
It was staggered throughout the actually kind of over 2 days. Very few people came in on that first day. The majority of people came in on the second, and I think that first day was just there for the people they couldn't get in on the second. And we always had to double up room wise, so you always had a roommate.
Okay.
And it was generally something you could pick within your district or at least within your area.
Okay.
So like if your district had like 13 stores, one of the managers would have to share a room with one of a manager from, say, another district that was nearby.
Okay.
So, and it was kind of cool because we would all kind of like buddy up and whatnot.
Yeah.
So most of the time the people I would room with were people that I knew, so that kind of worked out. And then of course there was always a situation where you might have a district of 13 stores. Of those 13 managers, one of them's a girl.
Okay.
So it was always girls in a room together or guys in a room. They never,
yeah.
Kind of did the two,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we would, so you'd fly in. And so, yeah, you would have these classes and they were, you would usually have, a couple people from the company that were there to pretty much just pitch their stuff.
Okay.
And a lot of them, were obvious. You would have obviously like the big companies like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you would have more game developers like, Activision or Blizzard or EA or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
And the EA classes were always weird because you had to like pay extra for a chair and you had to pay extra for a drink.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Just making fun of EA.
Oh, okay. I was like, really?
Yeah. The person spoke in a microphone in another room, so you had to buy headphones. It was all microtransactions. It was really annoying. If you want to get different skins for the class, it was the whole thing. So. Anyways, but and then you would have like accessory companies that were like third party, so like Mad Cats, and mind you, this is 20 years ago, so keep this in mind. A lot of these companies might not even be around anymore. But you would have like Mad Cats and stuff like that. And then you would have like kind of the real, like, it makes sense, but it was always kind of weird they were there. Like the strategy guide companies, like Prima Games.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because it goes with the games.
It does, but mind you, this whole thing was to kind of amp people up for pre-orders, and it was like, hey, you know that cool, awesome game that came out? We made a book. Like, that was really the presentation. That was...
We made a book.
We made a book like that, and that was it. And it was like, all right, what do we do for the next 40 minutes? Like, we really kind of covered, the whole thing. We really, on the flight here, we really thought this was going to be a much longer presentation. I think we said the word "we make a book" too quickly. I think we were supposed to draw that word out or something like that. We made a book. They just do that. They just do like throat singing for like 40 minutes straight. So. Anyways, but on the other hand, a lot of the companies, the big ones, like I said, like EA, Activision, those ones, a lot of the time, like, their presentations were very, like, a lot of numbers,
okay,
a lot of statistics. Our last version of this game sold blah 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 amount of copies, and the market share was done. But like the strategy guide ones and the third party accessory ones, they had to make it weird because it's strategy guides and third-party controllers. It's all stuff that like nobody's getting real jazzed about. I mean, even I think the only thing that like the strategy companies would do, and they started doing this back then, was making the collector's edition one. So like the hardcover ones. That,
and we've got a couple of those ones.
Yeah. I think we have some Fallout ones. We have like a Skyrim one. Skyrim one. Do we ever get a Zelda one for Isaiah?
I think Isaiah's got a Zelda one.
Yeah. So for one of the Zelda games. Anyway, so yeah, they would kind of show that stuff off. But they would generally a lot of time have like goofy games and things to play, and they would have like different freebies and stuff like that. And then but here's the thing. This was the kicker. So you're in Vegas. Now, one year we had it in San Antonio.
Okay.
Which was actually pretty cool. Heather and I had actually gone to San Antonio back in the squad days with a bunch of the squad members for PAX.
Yep.
And I actually had been there one other time because we had a conference. But here's the kicker about the Vegas one. This is where it gets mean. By the way, in case anybody's curious, no, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not making anything. I made some bread. Be happy. We would have to meet, so they would have these huge breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, right? And you're feeding 5,000 plus people, so it wasn't necessarily the greatest food. It was very kind of cafeteria, kind of like, and everything resembled something you were familiar with, but not, it's like, if you've ever seen like, behind the scenes of a movie and they show the body double or the stunt man for an actor, you're like, they kind of look the same. Just imagine that, but sausage. Anyway. Yeah. So, but once again, mind you, all this stuff was free, so it's not like we're paying for any of this stuff. And so yeah, we'd have breakfast, and then we'd go to classes, and we had to be at the breakfast, like sitting down in our seats at 7 a.m. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City. I know it's not technically the city that never sleeps, but damn it, it's the city that never sleeps. Okay.
No, there's people everywhere.
All the time, all night. The sun means nothing to them.
Nope.
Okay. You ever woken up from a nap and can't figure out if it's 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.? Yeah, that's Vegas. That feeling you have is every moment if you've never been there. Anyways, and so we would have the lunches, but we would go to these classes starting at 7 a.m. We'd have breakfast, and every meal, because you got to think about it, I want to say it was 8 meals, because it was like 3 breakfast, or no, it was like 3 dinners, 3 lunches, and 2 to 3 breakfasts, or something like that.
Okay.
Each one of them was sponsored by a company.
Okay.
So we would have the meal, and about halfway through the meal, someone would get up and talk.
Okay.
And usually the breakfasts and lunches were sponsored by developers. So once again, EA, Ubisoft, Activision, any of those companies. And they would usually be a much bigger, more extravagant version of what the class was.
Okay.
So it was always weird when you had like the Activision breakfast, then your first class was Activision. Because you just go in there, and basically it was the same thing you just saw, but just like
why do I want waffles all of a sudden?
Yeah, kind of whisper. Yeah. It was a Pavlovian dog kind of scenario. So. And then the dinners, the 3 dinners, each one was sponsored by one Microsoft, one Sony, one Nintendo.
Okay.
So the big three. And really, I mean, you would go there and you would learn stuff, and it was cool and whatnot. But generally, you were just waiting to see what you got for free.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes there was some mind-blowing ones. I do know the year after I left GameStop, mind you, keep this in mind, this is a while ago. The year after, so the first out of many, many years I didn't go to one of these conferences, they gave every single manager and above a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox. Not the newest one, the Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Yeah. I didn't work there anymore. Oh, and a fun little side note. At the time, I had a girlfriend who isn't currently in this call, and she was awful. She sucked. We don't like her. Anyways, she also worked for the company. So all those conferences, well, some of those conferences she went to too. But she still worked for GameStop after I left.
Mm-hmm.
So she got so that's how I know what she got. And a lot of really cool stuff the year after I left. But that's when they would have, so like, and it was always kind of weird. Like, they would have kind of big announcers. The guy who does Mario's voice always did a lot of stuff. He's kind of a creepy dude. Just, you know, a little bit creepy. Nothing weirder than hearing Mario hit on girls. Like, it's weird. Yeah. Very uncomfortable. Anyways. And there was one announcer that always did the Nintendo one. And God, I cannot remember his name, but he was one. I think he had hosted like Attack of the Show on G4 and stuff. Mind you, 20 years ago. I want to call him Peralta, but I don't think that was his last name. Anyways. And I just weird stuff like the Nintendo one year. I remember sitting there and then they're like, oh yeah, this game's coming out and this game's coming out. By the way, here's Avenged Sevenfold. And they would play 2 songs and then go away. And then they would go back to like the next Zelda game. That is legitimately a thing that happened. They were really bad at queuing that stuff in. It was like, oh, there's a new Batman game. And I mean, a lot of times it would connect. But I remember there was a Tony Hawk game coming out. Well, that was an E3 thing. That was a different one. That was E3. One time they drove the 1989 Batman movie Batmobile out on stage, and then Mark Hamill got out of it. Okay, well he plays the Joker, so I mean, he played the Joker, and this was when, mind you, this is gonna very much date these stories. This is when Batman: Arkham Asylum was coming out before it came out, and he played the Joker in that, so a lot of that stuff. So, but yeah, so I mean, but it was just this case. Well, the problem was we started at 7 a.m. and then we had classes till like 6 p.m. and then even the meals we were all kind of just cattle herded into the, you know, the big room for the meals. And then even after that, a lot of time they would have these optional, like, come hang out in like the Nintendo gaming room. Yeah. Where you would have like a bunch of the execs and stuff like that hanging out. And it was always optional, but we would always have the district manager be like, we're going. Yeah. So a lot of time we would go till 9 o'clock. Well, the problem is, oh, and by the way, they spend every breakfast reminding people not to do dumb crap. And inevitably, every year, there was 3 or 4 managers that got sent home early because we were getting done at 9 o'clock, and then and you had a lot of young managers who were like just barely 21. Mm-hmm. Then they would go out to the Vegas Strip that has no concept of time. Yep. And then get drunk and get in a fight or get, you know, I remember one guy got sent home because he apparently got into a fight with one of the people, one of the roulette tables who worked there in the casino we were staying at. Jeez. Do you know how hard it is to go to your room when you're not allowed to go in the building? Very difficult. So yeah, just dumb stuff. God, I don't remember the point of the story. We were talking about how we were going to Vegas. Oh yeah. Anyway, so we're not going to be here next week. Okay, thanks. Bye. God damn it. You guys just experienced an average conversation between Heather and me. Yep. Sorry. That's why I just sat here. God damn, that's right. Did you get the ME system up? I did. Oh, wow. Well, hey, look at this. One of us got something done. Nice. Good job, babe.
Thanks.
That's running off of free power from over here, right?
It is.
Sweet. Oh, look at all that. God damn, you got a lot done. Man, look at that. That is a nice ME system. By the way, here's Avenged Sevenfold. Anyway. Wouldn't it be crazy if they just started playing in the back of my office right then? Like, those guys really need a gig. So, anyway.
Yep.
But, so, the point of all of that is for Mother's Day, Heather and I are going to try and go. We're going to drive to Las Vegas, stay in our free hotel rooms in a giant fake castle, and run around doing as pretty much every free thing you can do in Las Vegas.
Yep, I'm so excited.
Outside of eating, I'm hoping to spend a grand total of $8. Happy Mother's Day. So because of that,
wait, what's the $8 for? What's $8 for?
I might buy a small Lego set. I've got a problem. Just to tell you how Heather and I plan a trip. We had a rough idea of where we were going to stay and what we want to do, but we knew exactly where Dutch Brothers and the Lego store were in the city. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, I there are times I wish you were able to marry an adult, but it's either me or that. The two cannot be the same. Anyway, so the point is, we're not going to have videos next week. Okay? Thanks for watching.
Bye.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Questions, comments, concerns, put it down in the comment section. Let us know if you have any interesting and legal Vegas stories. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for STDs. Keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm not wrong. And yeah, don't forget, if you guys want to come and help support the server and the channels and all that stuff, you can do that by becoming a Patreon. Go check out the Patreon link down below. And that gives you access to this server plus 9 others. Hang on our Discord, be in our Saturday and Sunday streams, plus some other fun things that we try and do. And then lastly, if you guys want to get your own server, head on over to Host Havoc. Use the link down below. That way they know you're coming from one of our videos. And until next time, on behalf of myself, Heather, and Avenged Sevenfold, we want to thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
And Avenged Sevenfold. God, if they just started playing to be weird. Bye.